everybody. If you're watching this video, I probably just had my new intro on the front of this video. So that's why I said, let's go. That goes with my intro. I appreciate everybody coming by. My name is Kevin Wilson, the host of the BMX podcast. And as always, we got Danny Pena riding shotgun, my co-host. And today we have a very cool guest, a San Diego native, Mr. Shane Wimberly. Thank you very much for coming on, Shane.
Thanks, guys.
Nice, dude. So we're going to get into Shane's whole backstory and very interesting stuff from San Diego. Not too far from me. I'm from El Paso, so I don't know, about 100 miles away. We might have crossed similar tracks.
We're close in
we'll talk about that.
We're close in age.
Yeah, we're the same. He's a youngin'. He's a year younger than me. So, but we're pretty close. You're a lot. How old are you, Danny? You're
54. Yeah.
So you're technically the youngin'. Nice, dude. So, anyways,
for someone to say I'm the youngin' at 54, that's just, you don't hear that anymore. So I'll take it.
Oh boy, man! I'll tell you, Danny's coming out of his shell lately. Boy, Danny's been handling business on the interviews, and I totally appreciate it. Thanks, Danny.
Hey, no worries.
But anyway, so I just want to talk to everybody real quick. A couple months ago, I had posted a video. Okay, so let me go back. Back in December, Danny and I did a trivia contest with Mike Miranda, and during this contest, I went up against him in BMX trivia, and I almost won. He got me at the line, but in that trivia contest, Mike had divulged a very cool fact that I wasn't aware of. He divulged the fact that actually Jesse James, the chopper guy, actually raced for Bandito out of Riverside, and he was very, very fast. And I don't know about you. I remember, Danny, you were just as surprised as I was, right? You were like,
I was. I did not know you raced.
Yeah, dude. And so, anyways, that got my juices flowing about celebrities that race BMX or rode BMX bikes. So I did a video a couple months ago saying, hey, who else rode BMX bikes or raced BMX bikes that I didn't know of that I wanted to know? And dude, the replies on this thing was insane, dude. I mean, it was like 350 comments. What? Yeah, dude, it was insane. Now, some of them were legit. Some of them were absolutely asinine. Some of them were messing with me, but some of them were questionable. So I wanted to take 5 minutes and go through the list, and then maybe we can nail it down between the three of us who we think is the most famous BMX racer ever that ever lived in regards to a celebrity-wise. So okay. I'm going to start out with the totally asinine ones. Like there's a picture of King Charles on a BMX bike from like the 70s.
Come on.
They said King Charles. They said there's one with Benny Hill. There's one with Jackie Chan on a BMX bike. So there was some Heather O'Rourke. There was some crazy people that were on there making up all these names. So those are like the really crazy ones. But there were some that were questionable that maybe, I'm not sure. So I want to share them with you. Spike Jones, the director, I guess he's a director, right?
Okay.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
See it.
Ludacris.
Wow.
Lil Wayne,
wow.
Ken Block, and I already mentioned Jackie Chan. So those are the ones that I'm not sure of. Those are the ones that are like questionable. Like, man, I don't know if I believe this or not. But those are the ones that are questionable. Now, here's the ones that I believe are accurate from what I can tell. Michael Strahan, Derek Thomas, Chip Foose. I know Chip Foose from
Foose for sure.
He's a car
designer,
fabricator, right?
Yeah. So he actually did a video on his channel. He collects BMX bikes. He has a Red Light MX too, man.
That's your favorite one. Hey, his Red Light is trick though. Yeah, I've seen it. I saw that video. It's Red Light trick.
So I know Chip. Yeah. I know that he rode BMX. I don't know if he raced or not.
Right.
Dee Snider.
Really?
Tracy Guns. Now we'll talk about Dee Snider in a little bit, but Tracy Guns.
Okay.
Robbie Williams from the UK. I guess he's an actor or he's a musician.
Yeah.
Okay.
We already talked about Jesse James. Bob Hanna rode BMX before he rode motocross?
Oh,
I have no idea.
Motocross, right?
On that,
What's that?
I can give you a little backstory on that.
Okay.
Bob
Is
Hanna.
that accurate that he did race?
Yes, we there was a celebrity race at a track in San Diego, Willow Glen, and it had something to do with Yamaha, and he actually was there riding.
Nice.
And this was back in 78, 79, early 80s.
Okay.
Yes, Bob Hanna was.
Nice.
That's legit.
Ryan Seacrest.
No, for real?
Yes, dude. Ryan Seacrest race. From what I can tell, it's true that Ryan Seacrest raced. At least he rode a bike. He was into the sport. It gets crazier. We got Larry Wilcox. We all know that Larry Wilcox.
Right.
He had his own clothing and that type of thing. Slash, which is everybody's favorite.
I heard about that one. Yeah.
Slash rode race BMX, and he was fast. Lenny Kravitz raced BMX. Now, I was like questioned about this, but
Yeah.
but Rennie Roker's wife, I forgot her. Please, I forget her name. She commented that Lenny Kravitz raced BMX,
Wow.
and obviously, you know, Rennie Roker was the guy that started Jag.
That's nuts.
Jeremy McGrath, we know that he was on BDC.
Check that off my list. That was one of them I had.
Ed Helms.
He's a fan. He's a big fan. The guy from The Office, Ed Helms.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the when the Rad movie came back out, you know, and they re-released it every year, like Rad Day, there's a behind the scenes before they'd run the movie, and he was involved with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Ed Helms, there's a picture of him riding a ramp, actually, not too long ago, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ed Helms and Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon. All
Well,
right.
he was in Bakersfield because he grew up in Bakersfield.
I'm sorry, what was
Did
that?
he really?
Yeah, he grew up in Bakersfield, and the rumor or the story goes is the reason he wasn't fully accepted at the beginning in NASCAR is because he wasn't from the South.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
That's what I had heard. Yeah.
Wow.
So what's your Bob? So did you have wait? You said you're going to tell a story. Did you tell your story? Or was that Bob Hanna?
Well,
No,
before he tells that, I got like two people that I know off the top of my head. That Jeremy McGrath was one of them. I wrote it down, and I'm like, damn it, Kevin, you got that one. But Kanye West, he's a BMX fan.
Oh.
Yeah, he is. There's pictures of him on a chrome PK Ripper, and it's the weirdest. It's the weirdest picture because he's wearing like a full face like street style motorcycle helmet, and it's a PK Ripper with like GT mags, not even Skyway Tough Wheels on it, and he's riding in public on it with bodyguards all around him. So he's like a fan of it. And Travis Barker, that's what do you call Kourtney Kardashian's husband, the musician. Yeah, he's a big BMX collector. He's got a ton of them. And those are the only two came off the top of my head.
He has like a Chanel bike and like a
right.
Hermes bike, like solid gold, stuff like that.
Some weird one.
I heard that he collected. I don't know if he actually rode or raced or whatever the case.
I don't know if he was a racer, but I know he collects because I saw some episode. I go, oh, I didn't even know he had any interest in it. But those were the only ones I could think of without Googling it because I didn't have time today to Google it.
Yeah. So
go ahead, Shane.
What do you say to this epic list of people, Shane?
You actually got one of mine. I was going to say Slash.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses. So now, do they have to race, or can they? Because I was
a fan.
They can't just sit on the bike. They got to do something.
Marshawn Lynch. He's a big SE guy. Marshawn
that
Lynch.
again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He does all those ride outs.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, they made a bike for him. Beast Mode.
Yeah. What's that one called again, Shane?
Beast Mode.
That's it. That's the one. Beast Mode.
Yeah. That's his. Wow, I didn't know that.
His signature bike. Yeah. And then I'm going to throw this out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it counts, but you mentioned Rad.
Yeah.
So I think his name is Bart Taylor, the gymnast that was
the
the rival of Crew Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
I don't know if he actually rides, but he rode in the movie. It's got to count, right?
The cool thing about Bart is after the movie, you know, was over, he still expressed a lot of interest in the sport. So if you watch some of the videos that are online and stuff that I've actually reviewed, he's commentating with the other guys, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Bart Taylor, and he really found some interest in the sport to the point where he was commentating.
Bart Connor, we don't want to get any lawsuits.
Yeah, there you go, Bart Connor.
Well, those would be mine. If I had more time, if he had let me know, I could have probably come up with. But
so I'm gonna give my top three. Maybe you guys can name your top three, and then we'll give our top ones, and then we'll go from there. My top three is gonna be number one is gonna be, well, in no particular order. Slash D. Snyder and Larry Wilcox. That's my top three. Now, just for the record, I'm doing this of total immersion in the sport, riding, all that wrapped into one as one whole unit. That's what I came up with, my top three. What do you think, Danny?
For me, I'm going to put Larry Wilcox on top, not just because of the chips thing, but he did physically race, and he got pretty hurt racing, if I remember. I think at the War of the Stars, he got mangled at that race, and so I put him number one. Slash, because he's so huge, I put him as number two, and then Jesse James, because I didn't know he raced, but in that video we did with Mike Miranda, I mentioned, I go, wasn't he narrating Joe Kidd on a Stingray? Because I recognized the voice, and you guys didn't catch my question when I asked it, but I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah, so I think those are my top three.
All right, Shane.
And I'm going to go Larry Wilcox, and the reason for that is because when that episode came out, it gave BMX a lot of visibility because Chips was really popular, and then Bart Connor, just rad, that in the 80s, that gave BMX another boost. And then I'm going to say a tie between Slash and Marshawn Lynch, because Marshawn Lynch is really, he does all the ride outs, and he's whenever he doesn't do any other thing on any other brand but that bike. So I'm going to take him over Slash. So those would be my three.
Good choices, man. Good choices.
I think Kevin froze again.
I think Kevin did. There he is. He's back. He's back.
Man. Oh, man. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to have to do my editing tonight. Okay, so my number one, well, if I'm number three and you guys have, okay, technically it's going to be, for me, it's going to be D. Snyder, Slash, and Larry Wilcox, 1, 2, and 3. So if I got him at 3, you guys have him at 1, he wins.
What was D. Snyder's involvement with the sport? Was he actually a racer?
I think he raced.
He raced.
Did, really?
He actually raced in the 90s, and maybe even in the early 2000s.
You mean after his music career, he was still racing?
I have pictures of him, which I'll post on the comments or whatever when the video comes up. I may even use it as the thumbnail. But I have pictures of him on racing, jumping, and at the racetrack, and he was easily late 90s, early 2000s, and that's why I picked D. Snyder.
Man, I did not know that. I probably would have moved into the top, but yeah, that's a good choice.
Well, we can correct it.
Yeah, I had actually just seen last week a picture of D. Snyder racing.
Yeah,
holy crap!
Jumping. Yeah.
In the video, one of the videos for Twisted Sister, they're all sitting on BMX bikes.
That's right.
Like, we're not going to take it or something, but they're all sitting on BMX bikes. Actually, I think it's a clip from Pee Wee Herman when he goes through the.
There's another one.
Wait! Isn't there a Twisted Sister scene in Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure when they're filming a video and he rides through the video? Right? Am I right?
I think that sounds really familiar, man. I'd have to look it up.
There's a picture of D. Snyder and with the rest of the guys sitting on BMX bikes. Anyways, so
Very
just
cool.
for the record, the top three from us, the three guys on the podcast today, Larry Wilcox takes the trophy as the biggest celebrity ever to race a BMX bike. Legitimately raced it.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
He got hurt doing it. So
yeah,
that's
got hurt doing it. Got to give him his props. He got injured.
I was there. But people are still arguing about it today that he broke his leg, he broke his collarbone. No one can decide what happened to him, but everybody can agree that he crashed.
So Danny,
yeah, I remember in the magazine he had like a neck brace on, so I don't know what the extent of his injuries were. He was laying on the ground with the neck brace on.
Shane?
I was going to say that's Danny's next get to bring on the shows.
I tried.
You tried.
Yeah, I tried. One of my previous guests, Dina Corbett, one of my first guests I ever had on the show. She, I guess her family. She was a big Chips fan, and her family reached out to him, and he did a greetings for her on her phone, like, "Hey Dina, this is Larry Wilcox. I want to get you on the bike, and we're gonna go for a ride, and all this stuff." And I actually talked to, or I emailed his business manager or something. I said, "Hey, I'd love to talk to him." I never got any response back.
Oh wow, that would be a big one, man.
Dude, I'm not going to divulge it, but there's a sliver of hope that I can get in contact with Dee Snider. A sliver of hope. I can't divulge how I'm going to do it, but there may be. I'm hoping. But anyway,
that happens. My mind's going to explode.
For all the celebrities who race, thank you very much for racing and supporting the sport. That goes to our guest today, Danny, Shane
Wimberly.
Man, this guy, he was on the cover of what? What were you on the cover of, Shane?
The American BMXer. It was the Points magazine that came out monthly, and it would review races that had just happened, and then in the back it'd have the points. And so the backstory on that. So at the Grands night, the Friday night race, they would use the fluorescent lights, and it was my first time racing the Friday night race. And I decided I wanted to have the brightest, gaudiest, just in your face bike uniform. Maybe I'd get something out of it.
Right.
A mention. Because I knew if I could get kind of far in the program, it was going to stand out. And so a guy that I worked with at the time, he painted it up, and it went blue to green to yellow to pink.
What was the frame, Shane? What were you riding?
Free agent.
It was a free agent?
It was a limo.
Was it the free agent limo? Because that was like, that bike was super popular.
That was actually, once I got on that bike, that propelled, it just fit me.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got on that bike, I never rode anything else. It just,
I've heard that many times. I've heard people re-sticker their regular bikes.
Yeah, that was good in the early 80s, mid 80s.
Just a bit of background on this story. It's really cool, Kevin, because as you know, I've reviewed old races, and I'm going through them, and Shane, I didn't know him. He just messaged me on Facebook. He goes, "Hey man, that's me in that race. That's cool." And I'm like, "What?" And and then that's how we started our dialogue. And then he sent me some cool photos and stuff like that. It was really awesome.
Yeah,
Shane,
because
I may have made a reel out of one of your races too, because Eric Carter's been in a couple of my reels that I've done, and so it's quite possible that you're one of my reels I did.
Yeah, probably.
Funny thing is, on the for the 87 Grands, when Mikey won, how they do the screenshot image on the YouTube page when you go and they got the images.
Yeah,
my image is part of that. For that
nice.
Race. But no, it's like I didn't get a lot of coverage, and so when I see a race that I may have been in, it's like I watch. It's like, holy crap!
Oh hell yeah, man!
Yeah.
And the best part is, most of the time I have no recollection of that race, so I'm watching it for the first time. I'm like, go, go, go!
Dude,
like that the race at Irvine, the World Cup. 17, I don't know if it was, I think it was 17 18X semi. Like, hey, I'm in that one. Holy crap. I ended up taking a dinger, but it didn't matter. I mean, I was in it. So anytime I get coverage, and Danny just kept stumbling upon things I was in, so I'd message him. And
nice, dude. We got ahead of ourselves, though, dude. I want to go back. I want to go back to Kearney. I want to go back to San Diego. I'm from Southern California. I never made it south of LA County. I want to hear all about the vibe, who was hot, what bikes were hot, what teams were hot down there. You know, that's Eddie King, Mike King, all those guys down there kicking ass in San Diego. Dude, how did you get on a BMX bike? The early days, dude, 6 years old, 7 years old. Tell us how you found the sport, bro.
I think it's probably the typical thing to where I have two older brothers, and one of my oldest brother's best friends, I remember him coming over to the house saying, hey, I found this cool thing. We should go try it out. And it just so happened to be BMX. And that friend ended up being John Swanigan, who ended up being his monkey from that photo that I showed you. And actually, he ended up being the inventor of the rock walk freestyle. Oh, wow. So he's considered the godfather of freestyle. He was buddies with Bob Harrow, who lived in Spring Valley, grew up in Spring Valley. And so, yeah, so that's how that started. And being the younger brother, I just kind of tagged along.
Hold that thought. Sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
Is a rock walk with front brakes, or does that count? Because I rock walk without front brakes.
Ooh. I would say without is harder.
Is it cheating to have front brakes on a rock walk?
Well, I don't know if it's cheating. I would think without front brakes, it's harder.
Yeah,
it is.
So if you're doing it without front brakes, kudos.
You just got to swing it hard enough, dude. Anyways,
I don't remember if he had front brakes or.
And what was his name again? I'm sorry.
Juan Swanigan.
Swanigan.
Yeah. In fact, Tony Johnson had made a post, and that topic came up, and he quoted that they consider him kind of like the godfather of freestyle, just because he came up with that trick, and he was hanging out with Bob Harrow a lot. In fact, he helped Bob Harrow do the forming of the Harrow number plate, the original.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's definitely some BMX freestyle roots with that whole area.
Nice.
You know that I interviewed the guy that helped Bob Harrow put the stickers on the number plates in Bob Harrow's kitchen.
No way.
What?
Yeah. On the number plates?
On the number plates.
Oh, like the whole backing and everything?
The Harrow number plates are just clear, like kind of like milky plastic underneath the sticker. And Bob Harrow would put the sticker on in one fell swoop and then toss it to Robert Cardoza, and then Robert Cardoza would heat it up over the stove and then put it on a pair of Redline V bars and push it around the bars and form it, and then they put it in a box. And they do that all day long, and he was there when Bob Harrow was making the number plates. Kind of funny.
That's amazing.
Box them up and go to the track and sell them, and they sold.
Yeah, shout out to Robert Cardoza.
That's amazing, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I interrupted you, man.
So that's kind of how the whole thing started. And I know I talked to Danny about this, that a lot of the guys that come on here, they can go, yeah, it was 78 degrees. I had 5 riders in my class. I had this gearing. This. I don't remember any of that.
The wind was coming in from the east. And it was kind of the high barometric pressure.
I don't remember any of that. I do remember it took me many, many races before I trophied. And I don't even know if it was a trophy that I won first. One of the tracks, Encinitas, I believe, it was at a YMCA. And what was cool about it that I remember, they wouldn't hand out everything as you finished your race. They had an auditorium after the races. People would go in, they'd get called up on stage, and they gave out ribbons, which it's unique.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I mean, it's different. So I think that's actually probably what I won as my first memento. And actually, I told before you came on, Danny, so I started 6.5, 7 range, and I started doing okay. But Christmas of 78, my 10th, when I was 10, I got a 1978 RM80.
Nice.
Christmas. And so BMX kind of went bye-bye. Kept the bike still.
Yeah.
And a couple of years later, my oldest brother had heard there was a national at Rancho, DG National, I believe. And so we went out and checked it out. Decided I wanted to give it another go. And that's kind of, so I ended up coming back when I was 12 and a half or so. And so that's kind of the backstory.
What was it like for you to like come back after like a 2-year layoff and then jump into a national? I mean,
well, no, I didn't go to national. We just we went to watch.
Oh, you watched? Okay, I was gonna say that's a big leap to go back in there.
No. That was because I hadn't been to a race since I had stopped, and so it was just kind of let's go watch.
Yeah.
And it's like I still had the bike, and I remember when we got back to the house, took the bike out and started riding around. So it kind of gave the itch back.
Yeah.
No.
Did you do any other sports, Shane? Were you with any of the stick and ball sports, or was it just all BMX?
No, I played soccer 1 year, and the funny thing on that, we sucked. We sucked. The only game that we won was when the coach was sick and his wife.
Yeah.
So
I have a similar experience, bro.
Yeah. I mean, we would do baseball in the street, football in the street, but I never played. My mom wouldn't let me play football.
Yeah. Because guys like Kevin will smash us. That's probably why.
Exactly. Well, and the funny thing is, years later, I was at the grounds, and that was when Oklahoma and Nebraska had the rivalry football. And this year, Oklahoma was the host team. I got in the elevator with a couple of the football players.
Yeah.
Like, man, I made the right choice. They're like, nah, they were big. So,
Nice. So come back at 12 and a half. What bike were you on? Did you could ride the same bike as you did before?
I believe I had a squareback Redline.
Oh,
nice. There you go.
I regret.
Now we're talking. Okay.
Yeah, it was nothing fancy as far other than the frame. I think we did have the V bars, so it was a setup.
Terrible bars.
You hate those bars.
Different, so I like them. Don't know what happened to the bike, unfortunately. And so at that point, the middle brother of us, him and I would go to the races. We'd do Lakeside, Rancho, and I ended up in 82 for that association. I think it was MBMXA. Ended up 8 overall.
Nice.
And then we started hearing whispers that if you wanted to get anywhere, the fast guys were at Kearney. Because up to that point, we were staying in our little bubble, Lakeside, Rancho. And so we ventured out to Kearney, and sure enough, they were fast. And that's where I met like Johnny Johnson. Kiyomi Waller was out there. So we started going there more often. And then I want to say 83, 84, I was given the option of either going to the Winter Nationals at Arizona or something else. It's like, no, I want to go to the National.
Mm-hmm. That was an ABA race, right?
I would assume so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if the associations, if that was in effect yet, but I would assume so. But I remember seeing Richie Anderson and all the guys, because I really hadn't been exposed to all the top guys yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I see guys in the magazine. It's just like kind of like what you guys experience, starstruck.
Right.
And just watch the pros. So it's like, holy crap, this is on another level. So we did that. We nothing really. I don't even know if I got out of motos. Probably not. But that was okay. And then 84 started getting a little bit more serious. Well, I told Kevin before he came on, when I first came back, we were racing Lakeside. I was either novice or intermediate. I don't remember if they had 3 divisions or just 2.
Probably beginner, novice, expert at that time.
Probably. So I believe I was intermediate.
Intermediate expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so before the main, my brother was like, don't stop pedaling. Because at Lakeside at that point, you had the first straight and it dropped, kind of like a roller coaster where it dropped down and come back up and then into a bowl turn. He's like, don't stop pedaling. He'll stop. You'll win. And like I was telling Kevin, he must have talked to the same guy. Gave the same because neither one of us backed off. And we ended up locking. And right when you go down, tumble. So at that point, I said, okay, I'm done with intermediate. I'm turning. What probably wasn't ready, but I wanted to get away from. And then I started writing a little bit more as far as trying to take it a little bit more serious.
You know, you're talking to two very, very accomplished intermediates, right?
Yeah. I'm a local hero. That's it.
That's so me as an intermediate.
It was probably as much my fault as his. I just know we both ended up on the ground.
Nice.
Let me fast forward for a second, Shane.
Okay.
So, like, we know you came back about 12 years old. The fact that we all kind of did that, right? So, but when was it that you decided, I think I could go pro? I'm fast enough to do this. What age were you, and what made you think that I could compete with the best in the world if I want to?
17.
You were 17.
Yeah, up to that point, because the class was so competitive, I really didn't have a chance to kind of like, I had to focus on what I was doing. Because if my mind was right and I was on, I could compete. I could beat anybody at any time. Unfortunately, I got in my head too much, and I had gotten in the way too much. So it really wasn't something I thought about. Hey, 89, 90, whatever, I'm going to go pro. When I made the main at the Grand 17X and went to theirs in Winter Nationals, the class, like I said, the class was stacked. And looking at A Pro, it's like, that doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
So I was kind of done because at that point.
Like, what kind of names are we talking? What era of 17X are we talking about? I'm just curious. I'm just curious on over here at 17X. You got so and so, and a pro. You got these, and it goes. I'm going to pick pro.
I don't remember exactly who was in pro. I just know who was in. You got Darwin Griffin, Dana Griffin, Eric Carter, Mike King, Doug Davis, Townsend.
Holy smokes!
Pros.
Brian Those were amateurs still.
This is 17 and over X.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cecil Johns. And I have a picture.
That is super stacked. Sorry to interrupt you, Shane, but those are all Hall of Famers that you're talking about. Yeah.
Harry hadn't turned pro yet. No, that class was, in my opinion, the hardest class ever, just because of the depth.
Yeah.
Talking Hall of Famers galore. I don't even know if I've mentioned Billy Griggs.
Holy Jesus.
I mean, it's just, and so I look at that, and it was because at that point I was mainly focusing on nationals. So every national I went to, guess what? I mean, literally, there was 16 guys that if they were on, they could win. And, and there were guys that weren't factory that were main makers. Lonnie Lyerly, he was a year younger than me, but when he moved up, he was fast.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's names I'm forgetting, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
But basically, every factory had a 17 and over expert.
Right.
And they were fast. And that doesn't even include the NBL guys that would rarely come to ABA, like Todd Corbett, Hindler, all those guys that would show up occasionally at the Grands. So
that's insane, because I commented on one of my videos, Kevin, and I did an intro and I introduced Shane. I said, "Oh, this is Shane. He was in this race. Look what he did." And I commented, "This guy's raced. Maybe he's not as well known as, let's say, Billy Griggs and all these guys, but he's raced the best in the world." I mean, at the time, Shane. So I was like super impressed by that. The fact that you could even be competitive with these guys is nuts. Because, I mean, they would have smoked guys like Kevin and I. Would have been like, "Well, I'll see you at the snack bar, Kevin."
My one-piece cranks, man.
Yeah. Some guys running one-piece cranks. I mean, don't knock that.
I like them, man. Anyways, yeah, dude.
But yeah, and so I remember we were at the next year at Arizona. I don't think I made it out of the semi. Same scenario. And I was just burnt out because basically I was working full time and I had to train like that was my job. And not that you didn't as a pro, but the level, and I don't remember exactly who was an A pro at that time. I just saw that as a way to make some money, make some mains. Oh, Jeff Donnell, wasn't it?
Okay.
So yeah, it's like not an A pro and 17 and over X.
When you made that jump to A pro, let's say your first time going out there, was there a noticeable difference between A pro and 17 and over X in terms of the talent pool and the speed?
Well, yeah, there was definitely noticeable in the talent pool, but also my mindset, because you guys had talked about it on the last podcast, I believe, about the money high. That definitely happened. At least it happened with me. That it's just a totally different. Now I'm racing for money. Yeah. And then I was telling Kevin, the other thing I noticed with my starts was, I don't know if I can explain it correctly, but in pro, it's all or nothing on the gate. And so it bit me at times, but I needed to get out. So I did my best. And at that point, there was no random start.
No random gate. No, just
that hadn't come in yet. So it was ride, ready, watch the lights, and it was consistent.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest difference for me. I had the strength. I had the track wherewithal and the speed. Starts were a huge part of it for me. So that was the biggest difference for me, was the money high, and that doesn't last. At some point, I think it lasted for me maybe 2 months or so. And then you realize, well, now I got to get back to working as far as.
Yeah. Was it to make that jump from single A to double A? If I'm right, I think you had to make about $2,000 in a race year. Okay, so once you got that, how long did it take you to get to that $2,000 level and then make that jump? So what I was trying to do, because I didn't turn at the beginning of the year, and so what I was trying to do, and this was a regret I had after the fact, I was trying to time it to where I was really close to turning double A at the Grands. I wanted to go to the Grands and win, which was the same weekend as the Pro Spectacular. Huge mistake. I never should have done that strategy. It bit me, one type of thing. Because I would have turned probably 2 races before the Grands. I had enough money. Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, they backed off. I had the money. And I'm not sure what the disconnect, why I didn't know how much I had.
Mm-hmm.
It bit me. I had a great pro spectacular at the Grands.
Okay.
And then
Shane, do you have something right on your mouth? Right here? There you go.
I didn't even notice that.
That's what I tell them.
So, real quick, Shane, now we talked about the 17X to A Pro, and you felt like A Pro was easy to adjust to. Now, from A Pro to Double A, what was that like?
That's a whole different piece, because now you're racing in that they're making their money. This is their living. I mean, the top guys like Ellis, Harry, just all the top guys, Ronnie Anderson, that's their livelihood. And so to go into the Grands to do Double A, you don't want to enter because you're not in the points hunt. You don't want to go in there and disrupt. And
what's going on?
You want to take somebody out that's oh man, that's what I would do.
Which wasn't my reasoning. I just wanted to try to win the A Pro. I wanted to win A Pro at the Grands. And and so what I remember, it was super frustrating because I had the great Friday night, and then the second turn, the second bull turn, it happened the first two motos. I had a huge lead, went in way too fast in that turn, and washed out.
Oh,
not once. No. We have to do it the second time. And so it ruined. I had too many points, so I didn't get out the motos. So I went from the ultimate high, to that.
Yeah, back to getting motoed.
Is it a legitimate concern when you're going from you're going from single A to double A, where people are sandbagging, they're dragging their feet because they don't want to get the $2,000 to turn A Pro to double A? Did that really happen, or was that like a mischaracterization, or did people really like oh, all I need is like another $20 to turn double A. I want to stay single A, so I'm going to lose this race or whatever, or that wasn't even everybody want to turn double A as fast as possible?
Good question.
I skipped races, just not to. I didn't race and sandbag to not qualify. I just decided the safest way would be just skip.
So you did not want to accumulate your 2,000.
Correct.
Too quickly, anyway.
It was legit. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, where you'll see novice riders now, intermediate riders, that they'll be winning the race and then they'll slow down.
I've seen that. I've actually seen that. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe consider what I did sandbagging. Like I said, I didn't show up. I just
maybe I used the wrong terminology, but that was my question. Was that a legitimate concern? Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way at that time, and I don't really remember anybody doing that.
No. I think we got off. All I was asking was people didn't want to turn double A and get to 2,000, so they would.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my question. Yeah.
I think I heard in Dirty Knobs it might have been Dirty Knobs podcast, but they were on this topic, and I can't remember who was talking about it. It might have been Eric Carter. I can't remember, but there's a certain level of rider that just is a career A Pro. Like, this is as high as I'm going to get. I'm going to stay here. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're a pro. I mean, if you just don't want to make that jump, that doesn't even exist anymore, because now it's just pro.
Exactly. Just pro.
There's no rookie.
They've made it really hard with the new flow deal. And now it's just, there's no quarters. It's the lowest 16 points go to the semi. So if you blow your first round, your chances of getting out have really diminished.
Wow. I noticed that they added something called futures for so I guess is that supposed to be like rookie pro, or just I guess they're
it's
not really
amateurs.
considered pro. They're still amateur, right?
They're still amateurs. Like Sean Day races it.
Right.
To me, it's a opportunity for them to race on the big hill, gain experience, and it's, I think, USA BMX trying to prepare them for turning pro, Olympics, and so they're trying to weed out and get the best of the young riders of the 17X and up that'll have a future doing the Olympics and the World Cups and that sort of thing. That's my impression.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of this, Shane, I was going to ask you a question related to that, if you don't mind me interrupting you, because sorry, Kevin, all these things come to my mind, and so I wrote down this
high right now, man.
I wrote down this question. Look, so let's say that in the 80s, the Olympics was a thing for BMX. We know that it wasn't, but let's just say it was, and you, Shane, had to pick the riders that are going to go to the Olympics. You're going to give me 3 riders that go to the Olympics and 1 alternate. Who do you think it would be in the 80s?
What year?
Let's just say like 84. 84, yeah, 84 Olympics.
Stu.
All right.
I would say one of the Pattersons, but there's controversy on what's going on with them after what Greg said. God, 80s.
84, this one guy. Hill.
He's got.
Yeah.
Would you like
Greg and Stu?
Yeah.
Can they be of that where they had to be pro at that time, or?
Well, not necessarily, because the Olympics can be amateurs, but I'm sure we would want to send our best riders in the 80s. So you are
be pro.
I would say either Gary or Pistol.
That's good. That's a good lineup. Who would be your alternate?
They would have to race.
You would say, oh, that's a cop out. I thought about this question today, and I thought, man, who would I send? Obviously, Greg. Obviously, Greg's going to go. I would pick Stu. I would probably go 84. I like Eddie King, and man, Brian Patterson. So those are my top 4. I'd probably put Eddie as maybe Eddie as the alternate, and I'd go with Greg, Stu, and Brian. That's my choices. I don't know.
Who was the more dominant Patterson? Was it
Brian?
At that time, Brian, yeah. Especially in 84, yeah.
I know they were getting 1 and 2 a lot. Cruiser and
Right. What do you think, Kevin? Who would you pick for that 1984 Olympic team, man?
Hill, Miller, and Lonkarovich, probably something like that.
Miller.
Clint Miller, huh?
Oh, okay. Clint might have been a little bit. Griggs.
Well, he was an amateur in 84, but he was a badass amateur.
Yeah, Griggs and so I guess it would be Greg Hill, Pete Lonkarovich, Billy Griggs, and how many do I need? I need 1 more?
3 that go, and 1's your alternate.
An alternate would be Gary Ellis. Yeah, Gary Ellis was lightning fast. Oh,
interesting. You put Griggs in front of Ellis. That's interesting, man. I didn't even think of Gary Ellis. Damn it.
You said Ellis too, right?
Well, you could also add Tommy Brackens.
Tommy Brackens, definitely, man. It would be lopsided, not like today's Olympics, because U.S. riders are dominating in that era, as opposed to now. It's all foreign riders that are. Hell, the French took the top 3 in the Olympics. So, I mean, it goes to show it's not just an American sport anymore.
No, the French program is just on another level, and they have the funding that we don't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a full on, they have the full support, but cycling in Europe is huge. I mean, Tour de France.
Yeah.
I mean, that sport is huge to begin with.
Shane, are you still in the game? Are you still racing?
Am I?
Yeah.
No.
He follows, though.
No, I follow.
You see me, you're in the know, bro. Like, hey, I reported this whole time. I'm thinking this guy still races.
No, but I do, and I'm really disappointed. I know why they did it, but I have to say I'm really disappointed with the flow deal.
Yeah, with the USA BMX.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed watching all the Pro Series. And
what that is, Kevin, is USA BMX streams the Pro Series races, so you can just it doesn't have to be a Pro Series; it could just be a national. You could literally watch the whole thing on YouTube. And now they got what Shane's talking about, which is flow. You have to pay for that to stream it. Yeah, and then or you could wait. I think I waited a couple days, and then they dropped it on YouTube.
On Wednesday.
Anyway, yeah.
And in fact, I messaged my buddy Tony DeGalotto.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, I saw YouTube was live streaming the races, and I'm like, Jolly's winning again. Holy crap, he's winning Wednesday too. It's like,
yeah. I'm gonna say Josh Jolly is the future, man. He's from Australia, Kevin, and that kid is a monster. If you go back on YouTube, just put his name in, Kev, you're gonna be like, holy crap. Kevin's he doesn't like the current stuff that much, but but man.
Every night I go to bed thinking, dude, I'm such a bad person. I don't like BMX now. I can't believe it. Dude. I want to do it. I want to like it so much, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't get it.
It's all good.
From the 80s and 90s to now, they're separate. They're different sports. But like Danny said, I think Josh Jolly isn't the future. I think he's now. I think he's here.
Yeah.
I'd seen him do some of the World Cups as the 23 and under. And that's where I first saw him. And then he came over here last year for the Grands. Holy crap. He smashed those guys.
Yeah.
Like 3 bike lengths ahead going into the first turn in 17 to 20X. Just the race for second was a great race. Those guys were close. And he was on. And then to come out in his second weekend and win both days.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, with that being said, like if you go and let's go back to the 80s for a second. You know what, Kev? I don't think we're going to be able to do trivia because Shane's interesting to talk to, man. And we're already
we're going for an hour and a half, dude.
All right. Okay. So you go back to the 80s real quick. You're on the gate. I mean, you're in staging. You know, who's the jerks? Who are the cool guys? I mean, you don't have to. I don't want you to throw anybody under the bus, but
I will.
Your opinion. Yeah, I know Kevin's like, just tell us.
What I'll say is I was the outsider.
Okay.
The orange guys, they had their own clique, like Carter, Pavlovsky, that whole group. And I was the outsider, not trying to break into that. But they knew who I was. And so I don't want to say, and oddly enough, like Eric Carter, I saw him because I did some amateur supercross races.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him at I think it was Anaheim one, and we talked. So it's kind of like everything. And I'm thinking if I saw Glenn Pavlovsky, we'd be cordial, we'd be fine. But back then, it was kind of like NorCal, Southern California, that rivalry.
Yeah.
So I didn't really hate anybody, but there was, I don't want to say tension, but I mean, I knew who I was racing against, and if they got a chance to remove me from semi, quarter, main, they would have.
So were you hazed then as a rookie pro? Were you catching some heat, elbows, things like that?
Funny thing, and I don't even know if I turned pro yet. I don't know if you guys know who Jerry Jones is.
I've heard, yeah.
From
Boss guy.
Yeah, you would, yeah.
Boss guy, yeah.
We came up to Roseville or it was Stockton.
Okay.
And, I don't even know why he picked me out, but I did something or said something. I was just standing by him. He's like, something to the effect, it's funny now, but I don't know what you get away with in your home track, but you're not getting it here. Something to that effect.
Wow.
And then I had a little run-in with Townsend. He probably wouldn't remember this, on the track, to where practice, we came out of the first turn, and he like cut me off and turned around, kind of like that was intentional.
Oh, wow.
Other than that, no. I know a lot of people got hazed if you were an amateur and you went into pro.
Right.
Larry was known to, if you did that, you get taken out in the first turn. Or yeah, because
that's the kind of stuff I want to hear. Like, what was it like? Yeah.
But no, I mean, like with Mikey King, Doug Davis, they came out to Kearney a lot, so we would practice. With Mikey, we became pretty good friends. After we actually went riding motorcycles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you learn a lot from Mike, like doing gate practice on your locals, or did you pick up a lot from that?
If you watch Mikey, the reason he was such a good rider passing, because his gates a lot of the times were awful, and so he would have to come from. Yeah, if you watch, and that's why he was such a good passer, is because he would be able to come from behind.
Wow.
So the strategy with him was get out and cut over, and then hope. Him and Eric Carter were the two worst riders to be in front of, because it's like, how am I going to keep them from? Because they were just so crafty.
Man, I've seen Eric in a lot of races on YouTube and so forth that I've reviewed. That dude can pass anybody. He's insanely good at passing
and clean.
Yeah, definitely.
I had one move. That was it. One move. Go high, tap the brakes, and then dive bomb, and make sure you don't hit their back tire. That was my one move, man.
That's a good move, though, man. High low.
So I wasn't in this race. This was in Arkansas. I think it was. I was actually pro at that point, and I had a good week, and I made all 4 mains. I took a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. 17 and over expert. Eric Carter, Kiyomi Waller. This was brilliant. Kiyomi is winning. Carter came up behind him, and I still don't know how he did it, but he got his elbow or hand alongside Kiyomi's hand on the handlebar and like hit him. And
wow.
He loses his hand and went by him that way.
That's a good move.
It wasn't dirty.
Yeah.
It was just like, holy crap.
That's a good move.
It was I don't think Kiyomi was probably very happy about it, but it's like to be that aware of the situation. And I don't know if just happenstance, but I would guess Eric knew what he was doing.
Well,
yeah, that guy was phenomenal.
I told Danny the story about when I would get out in front in the turns, I would literally stick my left leg or my right leg out all the way. And I'd actually look around their front, their head tube, man. Like, you ain't going nowhere, dude.
Well, you could have, if somebody comes under you, you'd put your leg over their front tire to kind of keep them.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, when I first started racing, my dad didn't go to a lot of races. My mom took me to all the races.
Yeah.
And he did go to a couple of them, but he was the first one to tell me to go low. Like, I was in the first turn, he goes, "You're not strong enough to get in the front, but they're all going high in turn 1. Just go under them." And I started swooping guys like left and right in the first turn. And then I got into my mind, kind of like you were saying,
off the top of the turn, or did you back off before you hit him?
No, I didn't hit him. I just went under him, you know. And my dad's the one that told me to do that. And then there was one time I whole shotted the main, and I got scared. I was only 13, and I slowed down and let him get in front of me so I could try to pass him again. I got yeah. And my dad's like, "Why did you slow down?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I wanted to do the move."
You know who's really good at that now?
Yeah.
Is Drew Polk.
Oh yeah.
Watch him, and he's come so far because when he first turned pro, his first straight, I thought it was actually a mistake.
Yeah.
Because he had the track speed, but by the time he got to the first turn, he was always behind.
Yeah.
Kind of the same deal as Mikey. That guy can pass. He is so track smart that if you watch him, now you're gonna have to pay for it. But if you watch his if you watch his races from last year, he'll set people up to where because they're going so fast going in the first turn, everybody drifts up. So he'll go outside and then he'll just carve it. He doesn't lose speed. Yeah, I like stuff like that, that somebody is thinking and they can anticipate what the group in front of them is going to do.
That's the biggest thing that I've been trying to pay attention with the modern stuff as opposed to the, to the old school, is that the tendency to go single file on the modern day racing it's really there. But guys like Josh Jolly and stuff are kind of pushing that envelope now where they're making moves. And I don't know if it has something to do with the speed. It's too dangerous to make these moves. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
It's a multiple things. It's the speed. They're obviously going way faster than we ever did.
Right.
They don't want people to get into like off-camber turns. They don't want people to they don't want riders to take their feet off the clips.
Yeah.
And just the way the track is just flowy. It's really hard. Like if you watch Supercross, they'll have 180, 90s. They'll have different lines that guys can set up and do different lines and pass. Where the races now, it's really, once you get out of the first turn, it's really one lined.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it would be nice. My complaint with the tracks today, I haven't been to any, so I'm sure they ride different. All the same design.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've raced all the way up till 2 years ago, and there's no like fear of what's going to happen when you get to a race. Because, when you go to a national in the 80s, 90s, whatever, you don't know what the track's going to look like. You have no idea how tall the starting hill is going to be, how deep the doubles are going to be. So there's all these butterflies, and you're super anxious because I don't know if I'm going to be able to ride this, right? That's how I used to think. Now you can go to a race, you kind of know what to expect. As long as you can pump, you're good. You don't necessarily need to get in the air anymore at our level, because we're just not going that fast anymore.
Damn tracks
but
too long, man.
What's that again?
Damn tracks are too long. I go up the Grand Prix. I look at the track. I go, F this, man. I'm not even gonna do it. I need starts to the first turn. I peel off, dude. Every time. The tracks are too long now.
Don't get me wrong. The riders today, their skill set, I believe is more advanced than what we were.
Sure.
Yeah. It takes a whole different skill set to ride today's tracks. The
Absolutely.
person to ask is Eric Root, because he's ridden it all. And that's what he's said. It's like, it's not today's tracks are easier than, it's just a totally different sport.
Different. It's totally different. And I've never clipped in, none of that.
I got out right when clips were coming in.
Okay.
And I had a friend that raced at Kearney, and it was at the Grands. And he's like, hey, would you ever consider using clips? And at that point, I was thinking, the road bikes that had the little, at the front of the pedal, that.
Right.
And I'm like, no, if I crash, I want to be able to get away from my bike. I don't want to be stuck to it.
Right.
So I've ridden road bikes. That's how I used to train, clipped in, but I could never grasp being clipped in on a BMX bike.
It's scary, man. First time I went back to a race in 2012 when I first came back, I got on the gate and I hear everybody snapping into their pedals. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Because I'm on flats. I'll stay on flats. I don't care if I'm slower, because just like you, Shane, I'm like, I got to be able to take my feet off. I've seen people crash very awkward because they're stuck to those pedals.
And I know I've read stories that people have really hurt their knees. It's faster. Obviously,
Yeah.
like somebody, their times will be faster from clips to flats.
Yeah, it's faster.
It's not mandatory though, right? You can run flats if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if everybody else is running
yeah.
clips, then you're at a disadvantage. If
I watched Terry last weekend at the state qualifier, and he was on flats. Watched him race on Saturday, smoked everybody. Now but remember, he's AA pro.
Terry's in a whole different category.
Yeah.
But if he's going against his level of rider, former pros, and they're clipped in and he's not, he's at a disadvantage.
100%, yeah.
But he'll be able to get up Monday morning, go to work or go do whatever without having crashed, and his bike, you can't get away from it.
Hey, before we forget, Shane, because we got to do this trivia thing. We got to see your cover, man. You haven't cracked that thing out.
He's going to send it to me, a picture of it. I'm going to use it as a thumbnail for this video.
All right, that'll be awesome, because I think I have it too in my.
You do have it.
The Insane Shane Wimberly show.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. And he's in there dicing with Rick Palmer. He was on Factory Skyway. It's a great picture, man. Great picture.
You can't tell me that no one called you Insane Shane.
Insane Shane.
Hurricane.
Okay, all right.
Oh.
For some reason.
That might be a little bit better. Okay, all right.
So there was a sheriff, police officer that had his own little team. And I rode for him for like 2 races. He got me black and white uniform, and he put Hurricane Shane on the back.
Okay.
Nice.
It never stuck, but
maybe we'll get Insane Shane to stick. Danny is now the boss. He's taking over the podcast. We're going to do the contest, and I'm going to do a virtual handshake to the best man wins.
I'm with Johnny Johnson.
Oh man, I've never won one of these yet, so you don't have to worry about it.
Great chance.
I made the questions. I try to make them relatively easy. I put some true and false. I put some. I did put some multiple choice so that it'll help jar the memory, because I don't certainly remember everything. I just looked at the magazines and came up with questions.
So how does this work?
All right, here's how the rules are. We're going to play 3 different years: 1982, 1983, and 1985. I didn't get an 84 this time. So all we're going to do, Shane, is when it's your turn, I'm going to say pick a year. You want 82, 83, 85. You're going to pick a year. I'm going to give you a question. If you get the question right, your point. If you miss it, Kevin can steal it. And now, some of them have bonus questions and get 2 for 1. And may the best man win, man. Get on the gate. Let's go.
And Shane goes first. This is my home track, so Shane goes first.
All right, Shane, what year do you want? 82, 83, 85?
Oh, 85.
85. In 1985, Haro released which number plate? I'm going to give you 3 choices. Was it the flow panel, the 1B, or the circuit board?
I'm going to say the flow panel.
Oh, no, it existed, but they didn't debut it. What do you think, Kevin?
Circuit board.
Circuit board. All right, so Kevin got that first one.
My second guess.
Yeah, I forgot to keep.
I would have said the flow panel too, man.
Yeah, it was in the ad. It was definitely in the ad.
Into mind when you first read the question, and then you said,
That's my favorite.
That was just a warm up. That was a warm up. All right, so now we're on to Kevin. So Kevin stole, but it's your turn. What do you got, Kev?
82.
1982. All right, let's see. In 1982, a surfer clothing line was advertised in BMX Action. Can you tell me what OP stands for?
Ocean Pacific.
Oh, it's this guy, man.
Can I give my answer to what my 6th grade teacher said what OP stood for? Overpriced.
Yeah, go ahead.
Overpriced.
Overpriced. Hey man, OP T-shirts and Levi's 501s were that's what I wore every day back then. So yeah, I thought that was cool. All right, so we're back to Shane. Shane, what year do you want to go?
I need to redeem myself on 85.
85. Okay, 1985. GT released an entry-level race bike. What was the name of this bike? Was it called the Pro Series, the Mach 1, or the Performer?
I think the Performer was freestyle.
I remember race bike, right?
What was the first one?
It's going to be the Pro Series, the Mach 1, or the Performer.
I want to say A, but I'm going to go Mach 1.
That's right.
You got it. You got it. Mach 1. So that was their entry level bike. Went for about
The Performer
$249.
was the higher entry, correct? And
Performance freestyle in the pro class.
Performance freestyle. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So there was a bonus question, but you guys kind of already answered it. So I got to squash it because I was going to say, what was the. Oh, no. Actually, I could do it. What was the top of the line freestyle bike for GT at the time?
I got this one.
You're halfway there, Shane.
I'm drawing a blank. Go
What
ahead.
do you think? Pro Performer. So Performer was the entry level freestyle one. That's the bonus. So Shane, you got one out of that though, but Kevin got one. So we're 3-1. Kevin got the whole shot. Kevin usually comes slow out of the gate.
Normally, I gotta take you out later on in the race.
I'm coming to take you out.
All right, it's Kevin or Shane?
I think it's me.
It's Kevin.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
82.
82. In 1982, Arrow ran an ad for race gear. What teams were running Arrow gear? I'm going to give you multiple choice. GT, Redline, Schwinn, BMXA Trick Team, or all of the above?
I know my answer.
He's thinking.
Coming up under you. Here it comes.
I think that we talked about Arrow GT. I think
You want me to name them again?
all of the above.
Oh, you lucky guess.
I knew that one.
All of the above. Yeah, I found that ad and I'm like, oh wow, all of the above. So there is a bonus question, and let's see. So 3 of those bicycle companies were GT, Redline, and Schwinn. Can you tell me who the riders were in the ad for GT, Redline, and Schwinn?
Oh, I don't even know what ad you're talking about, so I'm going to guess.
Okay, just think of the era.
It was an 82, so it would have been GT would have been not necessarily pros, right? Just riders.
Yeah, that were in the ad.
Wow, dude, this is a hard one.
It is, but it's a bonus question, so that's why I threw it in there.
Okay, Schwinn would have been Kevin Robinson.
Oh, you're already out of it. Do you know, Shane?
Huh?
For Schwinn, I'm going to say Mike Polson.
There's one. For
And
GT?
I'm going to say Greg Hill and possibly Jeff Schofield.
You're good so far. And then for Redline,
Stu.
you got it. So it was Greg Hill, Stu Thompson, Mike Polson were in that ad.
And
So
was that the one with Jeff where Greg Hill is looking down at Schofield?
No, it's just literally, it's just I pull it up, but it'll take me too long to find it. But it's RL and then Mike Polson, Greg Hill, and Stu Thompson are all in the ad. And then that's how I got the question. So that's pretty good. So that gives Shane, that gave you a little bit of a little bump. So it's 4-2.
It was all of the above because I knew Stu.
Yeah.
I remember the trick team.
Yeah. The trick, yeah, they were still using Arrow at the time in 82. Yeah.
Was that
okay,
so by chance?
R.L. Osborne. Yeah. I should give him another bonus for that one. I won't do it. All right, Shane, what do you want?
Let's go 83.
Okay, 1983. True or false on this one? True or false? In 1983, the Skyway TA frame was released.
Let's see. Sherry would have been writing that. Andy Patterson, I believe.
I love to
I'm
see you
gonna
guys
say
think.
2.
You're right. You're right. It was true. So it dropped in 1983. I know Kevin knew that one because we just did a whole Skyway thing in a couple
I
episodes.
was just thinking of Sherry Elliott. Who else was on Skyway besides her and Andy Patterson?
Well, before I answer that question, let me give you your bonus.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this, there is a bonus to it. So what Skyway factory rider appeared in the first ad for the Skyway TA frame and fork?
Ooh.
Sherry would be obvious, but I'm going to go Andy Patterson.
Bam! You got 2, Shane. What's up?
Wait. Is that a legit question?
It was. It's a legit question. I
So
wrote
we're
it
tied?
down. Huh?
We're tied?
We're 4-4. All of a sudden, Shane came back. He got you in the second straight.
I always wanted the Skyway. I always wanted the graphites.
Man, me too. It's on my bucket list. It's on my bucket. I got to buy a set, you know. All right, man. It's going back to Kevin. It's tied up. Kevin, what do you think?
85.
85. In 1985, Hutch ran an ad for the Hutch Trickstar. Can you tell me who the ramp rider and the flatline rider would have been in that ad?
Woody Itson and Mike Buff.
Oh, so close. So damn close. What do you think, Shane?
That was my guess, Mike Buff. For Hutch.
Remember, you got to
coming back. Wilkerson was Haro. I'm trying to blank on Hutch. Oh, right. Diz?
No, you got okay. So so the correct answer, Woody Itson was definitely the flatliner. So you got that. So the ramp / pool rider was Mike Dominguez.
And did Jay get that?
Well, I said Dominguez, but I was thinking he was on Diamondback.
Oh no, he was definitely on Hutch at the time. I just took it off the ad.
Yeah, no, I said Dominguez, but I said he was the Diamondback rider.
Yeah, this was 85. I know he switched to Diamondback though, probably the following year or later that same year.
So is it still 4-4?
Still 4-4 since you both got that one wrong. And
okay,
then
it's Shane's turn.
Goes back to Shane. So what do you think, Shane?
83.
83? In 1983, Cycle Pro ran an ad for their race seat. What was this seat called? I'm going to give you 3 options. Was it called the Shotgun, the Bullseye, or the Arrow?
Arrow was, I believe, the one piece. No. What was the first one?
It's either going to be called, this is the Cycle Pro seat. Was it called the Shotgun, the Bullseye, or the Arrow?
I'm going to say Shotgun with the laser, the Lightner bolt.
You got it, and it was the Shotgun. It was the Shotgun 2, but I didn't want to confuse it, so it was the Shotgun. But I got a bonus question. The seat came in 4 different colors. Can you tell me those colors it came in?
I'm just going to say red, black, blue, and yellow.
Holy crap, dude. You got them all right. Sorry, Kevin.
I froze.
He got him. He got him. That's 6-4 because of the bonus on that one.
What was the question?
The question was, what was the seat called? And it's called the Shotgun.
I knew that.
Shane got that. And then I asked him, can you tell me the 4 colors the seat came in? And he named them all: red, black, blue, yellow.
But
it came all those colors.
To be fair, those were the colors back then.
Basic. Everybody had those colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
My turn.
All right. Let's go, Kev.
83.
83. All right. True or false? In 1983, Thun Cranks ran an ad. The writer in that ad was Mike Buff. Is that true or false?
That's true.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, he was in looked like he was riding a PK Ripper. He's tucked and he's wearing jeans. Yeah, that was true. That was a good one, Kevin.
All right.
All right, no bonus on that one, my friend, but that's okay. Let's keep moving. What do you think, Shane?
82.
82?
Sure.
Okay. In 1982, we did that one already. Okay, in December 1982 edition of BMX Action, the NBL War of the Stars race was covered. The first photo featured Bobby Woods leading the pro class. What bike was Bobby? Oh, what company was Bobby racing for?
Mongoose.
Oh, you got that. Now there's a bonus to that. Greg Grubbs was sitting second place in that photo. What team was Greg riding for?
See, this could be a trick question. This could be when he was on Redline or when he was wearing the free agent. I'm going to say free agent.
Oh, you got it wrong. Can you steal it,
Redline.
Kevin?
Redline.
Redline. Yeah.
I
He was still on Redline. Yeah, he was still on Redline, 82. There's some great shots of him in that magazine, by the way. He's locked up at one point doing like kind of a Harry Larry thing. The dude was rad.
He got the cover for doing that, I think, at Louisville.
You're right. That's an epic cover. Awesome shot.
Here's some trivia. Where was he from?
Oklahoma?
Nope.
Nope. What do you think, Kev?
He was the most famous rider from that state.
Nebraska.
Yep.
Alaska?
Yeah.
No, Alaska.
Yeah, I knew I could figure it out. I had to think about it. All right, man. Let's see. So that was Kevin stole, but it's still your turn, Kevin.
Yeah, 83. Any more?
83. Okay. In 1983, what team was Rob Fade racing for?
GT.
Oh, man, you're nailing them. Look at Kevin's trying to be confident. You tied that up, man. It's 7-7.
We're going to the last straight.
Yeah, and we still have a few questions left here, man, so we're doing okay. Okay, what do you think, Shane?
85.
85, okay. 1985. Hutch advertised Mike Miranda's signature bike. What was that bike called? I can give you options, or if you already know it?
It should be called the Hollywood.
Got it. Okay. So the bonus to that is what frame was the Judge Series? I'm sorry, what rider was the Judge Series based on?
Is that seriously a question?
Yeah. Timmy Judge. All right. Yeah. Sorry, it's a bonus. The bonuses are easier. All right. So you got 2. Damn. He keeps pulling you. Come on, Kevin.
We're on the last straight.
Yeah. What do you want, Kev?
82.
82. Okay. In December 1982 edition of BMX Action, the NBL War of the Stars was covered. We did that one already. Sorry, guys. In 1982, what factory team was Pete Loncarovich racing for? Was it Diamondback, CW, or Haro? 1982.
Well, he wasn't on Diamondback very long, but he raced for Diamondback.
You got it. It was Diamondback in 82. Good job, man.
It was like 2 months or something, right? It wasn't very long.
I think when he wanted to go pro, they couldn't have him a third pro.
Eddie and Harry.
Yeah.
Another team, LRP.
Yeah, he started his own company, Loncarovich Racing.
That was after CW, right?
Yeah. Was it before? I think in between.
I think it was after Diamondback, before CW. I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
All right, Shane's up.
Let's go 83.
83. Okay, let's see. What do we have left for 83? Okay, we still have 2 questions left. Okay. In November 1983 of BMXA, they tested the Robinson Pro Cruiser. What was the price point for that Pro Cruiser? I will give you 3 options. Was it $250 to $300, $350 to $400, $550 to $600?
In 1983?
1983, Robinson Pro Cruiser.
Is that complete bike or just
complete bike? Not the frame and fork. Complete bike.
I'm gonna go B.
350 to 400.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a miss. Kevin, can you steal it?
C.
Yeah, it was 550 to 600. And the reason I put that in there is because I was shocked that a complete bike went for that much.
I thought it was B too.
Yeah, I would think that would be a logical guess because, I mean, it was a stock cruiser, but it did have high-end parts on it. So that's probably why it went for that much.
You
All
know,
right,
I was surprised.
let's do a count. There's a one question left, period?
Let's see. You got that one, Kevin, right?
Yep.
So 9-9.
Oh, God.
9-9. And so we're going to the bonus question on that one, Kevin, because you did get it right. So what two riders tested that bike? There are two riders that were involved with the test, and they weren't racers. 85.
Okay. I'm not even going to think out loud because I don't want to give any hits.
Remember, it's BMX action. Who tested the bike?
Oh, not necessarily who rode the bike, who tested it.
Right, that's what they would do. They would bring different riders, regardless
Right.
of who they rode for. But you said they didn't race.
They're not racers.
Who was the test? I'm going to guess RL and Mike.
You got it. RL and Mike, they were the test riders for that. Yeah, I didn't want to say they were racers because that would have just left it too wide open. It would have been really hard.
Well, I would have said Moeller and Cullinan.
Yeah, that's true, but remember it's 83, so Mueller was probably like 13 at the time. Yeah, so I think
he's badass. So
he was. I think he started hitting his stride in 85. He was all over the damn place after that.
Him and I clashed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was an Orange local.
Oh, there you go, man. One day we just have to have orange stories when we bring Shane back, man, because that'll be good. Okay, so we're let's 10-9. Kevin's up, or Kevin's winning, and it's Shane's turn.
So what do we have left?
We got one question left in 1983. We have two questions left in 82, and we have two questions left in 85.
Oh, we got plenty of questions. Okay.
Let's finish off 83.
83. Okay, here we go. So this is the last one for 83.
Correct.
All right. In 1983, BMXA featured round 3 of the ESPN Pro Series in St. Louis. What Huffy rider won that pro class? Was it Stu Thompson, John Pyatt, or Gary Ellis?
That would be B, John Pyatt.
That's it. Yeah, good one. That's a good one.
I remember that was his home race. He was from.
Yeah. He absolutely cooked that race. That was a good race. Yeah. All right, man. It's there's no bonus on that one, Kevin. That makes the game tied 10-10.
Woo!
What do you think?
85.
Okay, we're out of 83, so I'll get that to the side. And so we're going to 85, right? Okay, in 1985, Richie Anderson was on Factory Skyway. What race pants was Richie riding?
Don't get it. Don't get it.
I could see your mind is like your head starting to smoke because you could.
Carl.
Oh, that's a miss. Can you steal it, Shane?
I think so. That would be 09.
09. He was loyal to 09.
He was
very loyal.
His stuff, his uniforms with 09 just had the best. I had a jersey, I had a white jersey, but I always wanted the pants. They were just out of the budget.
Yeah, I had a
sweet.
I got to race. I had a set of white ones, and then I went to the black ones after. So I got to run the 09. They were pricey. The only thing I didn't like was the jersey had this like fishnet bottom. I hated that crap, man. Yeah.
But like you said, he was. I don't know if he had a lifetime contract with them, but when he went to Skyway, he stayed with them, and they looked really good. And with Ronnie, So I don't know if you realize, but Ronnie, he loved being the bad boy, like the bad guy. So he would wear his white uniform and then change into the black for mains.
Switch into the black, yeah. That dude has some major contract disputes with 09 still.
09, ABA.
Yeah, years later.
It's unfortunate because when he dominated.
Oh, absolutely. One of the best riders ever. Absolutely.
And I remember I was at the Winter Nationals when he sent his bike into Pete.
Oh, you saw that?
I didn't see it. They were racing and I was watching, but I had turned. And so I didn't see it. But the gasp and the oohs and ahs.
Oh.
They had it's interesting because now they seem to be on really good terms.
Yeah, they just outgrew it.
But back in the day, Ronnie would play. He would have really screwed with me as far as his head games.
Yeah.
He knew how to play the head games big time. I know one of the races, he went to every pro on the gate in front of him and basically said, "You're going to lose. You're going to lose." Walk past. And in his 2 or 3 year period of domination, he dominated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Impressive.
I interviewed Ronnie, and the most stressful question I've ever asked anybody is when I asked him, I said, "Ronnie, do you like the nickname Crazy?" Because when you're 15 or 16, crazy is kind of cool, but when you're 50 years old and people still calling you crazy, I was just kind of wondering, like, do you like that name? And I was actually a little nervous to ask him that question. And what a nice guy, man. Sweetheart to interview. And I was really scared. Because I generally wanted to know. And I found out where is I found out where that came from. So it was a very cool interview. It was one of my most watched interviews up until this point right now, but very good guy.
Where did the come from? I don't know that.
So I can relate to this because now I'm going back about a year and a half ago, but I believe with him and Richie, like all brothers, like me and my brother, we always have little things that we say to each other, like when we see like something comes on TV, or like when I show my brother something, I'll go, "Dude, Chubby, check it." Like insert for like Chubby Checker, "Dude, Chubby, check this out," or whatever. It was a thing between the brothers where if they knew what the other guy was thinking, they would go, "Dude, you know." If they had that connection between the two of them, and that's where it came from. I believe that's what he told me, and it was kind of cool because I can relate to that.
Story.
To my brother.
Because that works now. It's like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another show topic. The most dominating brothers, the King brothers.
Oh yeah. See, we got the ideas coming, Kev.
Where are we at on the score now?
Oh, sorry guys. I like talking to you guys. This is a good show tonight. We have 10 to 11 Shane.
Okay.
Shane just got the last one, so we are down to 1, 2, 3. We have 3 questions left. 2 of them have bonuses, so it's going to be close on this one.
282 and 185.
82. Wait.
Yep. 282s and 185 are left.
82.
82. Okay. True or false? Lee Medlin left Kuwahara, rode for RRS for a very short time, and then moved on to Raleigh. Is that true or false?
Is this to me or to Kevin?
Me.
That would be Kevin's, yeah. Lee Medlin goes way back. He's one of the early superstars of the sport.
Dude, I'm going to say false. I don't think he rode that long.
Oh, that's a miss. That's a miss. It's true, yeah. So that's a pretty obvious one for Shane. He steals it, but it is true.
The thing with him, he ended up riding on a team that I was on, not at the same time.
Yeah.
I was on Vaughn for a short period, and he rode for them.
Okay.
But I remember I saw an interview with him. He hated rally.
Really?
Yeah. He was not. Yeah. So
that's
I think
crazy.
he was on Dirty Knobs. That's right. He's on the Dirty Knobs, and
yeah,
I don't think he enjoyed his time with rally. The bike wasn't to his liking.
You know,
But
yeah, dude.
stories about him, how fast he was. Yeah,
he was a legit badass in the early '80s. I definitely probably late '70s because he was all over the magazines back then.
I think he blew his knee out
Twice.
Oh,
Yeah.
twice, huh?
Yeah,
He's in the Hall of Fame, right, guys?
yeah.
If he's not, he should.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, I remember him telling the story that he'd won the Worlds, and when he came back, he lived in a small town, and it was like celebrity status.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
all right, guys, let's get back to it because I got to pee and I'm hungry. So let's get done. All right, Shane. Or actually, is it Shane? He stole it, right?
Yeah, I stole that one.
Yeah. So you've got 82 left and 85. We only have, but they both have bonuses. So there's still a legit chance with it being 12 to 10.
Let's go 85.
85. True or false? Greg Hill won his third consecutive NORA Cup in 1985.
True.
Okay, that is true. You got 83, 84, and 85. So you got those. And then here's the bonus for it. In 1985, when he got that third NORA Cup, what team was he riding for?
His own, GHP.
Man, this guy's good, Kev. You got them both. Okay, Kevin, you have to get this one.
I remember the ad for that. He had his Oakley face mask with the cup in front of him. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay, Kev, this is your chance.
My perfect record is not going to be broken today, dude.
Hey, this is your chance to keep it close, though. You can score twice on this one. It'll keep him honest. So, here's your question. In 1982, Tommy Brackens was racing for what team? Powerline. Powerline, okay. And then, can you tell me what his nickname was?
The dragster, the human dragster.
You got it, man. So you knocked out 2. Final score, Kevin with 12, Shane with 14. But I'm going to say it's more like 12 to 13 because Shane stole a true and false. So it was really 12 to 13. But yeah.
I'm just happy I got some right because I was kind of actually worried. I'm not going to do anything. Kevin's going to smoke me.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure banging bars with you, bro.
That was fun,
man. That was really fun. Danny, thank you very much for the questions, as always. Fantastic show. Everybody out there in BMX land, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the support. And if you would like to support Danny's channel, Danny, go ahead and tell them what you do, bro.
Danny Pena, BMX Racing on YouTube. We do magazine reviews, race reviews. I go to local events. I do go to the Frogtown every year. I'm hoping to get down there with Kevin on the Dirty Fest. That's going to be a big one. And just come and like and support the channel. That's all I ask. It's free and enjoy the content. I love doing it.
Nice. Shane, are you gonna hit up Dirty Fest? Or did you go the last 2 years?
I haven't been to one.
Okay.
Just timing hasn't worked out. So I haven't actually been to any of them. They look fun.
Maybe we can get you down to this year, bro.
Maybe. When is it?
Maybe. But seriously,
June 8th, I think.
I think I speak for Danny when I say, if it wasn't for guests like Shane, our hobby wouldn't be as fun. But thank you very much, Shane. I appreciate it so much. Everybody out there at BMX land, thank you very much for watching. If you would like to support my channel, you can go to bmxpertspodcast.com and grab a shirt, or you can subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. And
wait, my Supercross.
Yeah.
Supercross. Thank you very much out there. I appreciate you watching. And from all 3 of us, the track, until next week, the track is now closed.
Come on, ready, set, go. Come on, let's go.